I don't know. I think you have this.
Yeah,
Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout.
I don't have this
Okay, yeah, you butchered it.
because I have another
Okay,
baseball
but
one.
no, for me, this is like the thing that happened.
Yeah, it was that story. I
World
did forget
Baseball
about
Classic.
it. I did forget about this.
World Baseball Classic. Japan versus USA final. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast. And today we have a special episode for you guys with the off season pretty much rolling in. Nothing much really going on. MLB's going to be hitting the All-Star break itself. We decided to recap the sports years in general. So we'll be dropping. We ranked our what we think are the best storylines each. Kind of mixed in with our favorites, but there's some that definitely are not our favorites, but they were a big storyline. So we're gonna be talking about that, and then near the end we'll bring up the news of the day as well.
Yeah, so this is basically like it's like a school year, anything from like September till up until this point. But if you guys like this type of content, please just hit that subscribe button. Also comment some ideas for if you like these ranking type videos or like tier lists, whatever. Just if you have any ideas, please comment down below.
Yeah, we'll be doing more rankings as well, maybe like positional stuff, teams for the future. But I want to give everybody a heads up that there will be no episode dropping on Thursday. We have a family Akandapot, so we're gonna be busy with that. The Punjabi community knows. For those that are not in the Punjabi community, Akandapot is like we have a religious prayer for 3 days, so we're gonna be busy with that. But however, we will still be dropping a video on Thursday. Just it won't be a podcast. And keep an eye out on Saturday. We'll be dropping a special podcast episode. Then, that's how we'll tease it. We're not gonna tell you what it is about. Without further ado, let's get started. So, how hard was it to make this list?
I'll be honest with you.
This is our first list where we kind of have to do homework for the pod.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I was struggling a little bit. First, because I was trying to I didn't want to write down everything.
Yeah.
And, break it down. I just wanted okay, whatever comes to my head. I was like, okay, if this is good enough for me, then I'll write it down.
Yeah.
So then when I was doing that, I had 7 and 8 done. Then obviously finished it off today. And I added some honorable mentions, and I'm pretty sure you did that too.
Yeah, no, because we had this idea for a while. We just didn't have the time earlier, and there was no point because of the playoffs. But whatever came to my mind, I just listed it for a while. So I definitely made my list more so based on earlier parts that people may have forgotten compared to the recent news when we started the podcast. And I just listed everything down essentially, and then had a bunch of honorable mentions because I was just listing everything and just seeing what was my favorite / what I thought was the bigger storyline.
I'm just gonna guarantee this. I have a feeling I missed something, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to you and then miss it.
Hey, I might have too.
And I'm also gonna guarantee this, that both of us combined are gonna miss something. That someone in the comments will be like, "Yo, you forgot about this."
Yeah.
And we're gonna be like, "Oh shit, we're idiots."
Yeah. But no, I made my list. We're gonna go 10-1.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna mention the honorable mentions now. We'll mention in
later
case you have something that.
Yeah, we'll mention them later on. That's fine.
Number 10. You want to go first?
Yeah. I don't know if it might be a little bit low on the list, but I just added this in last minute and moved my number 10 originally to the honorable mentions.
Okay.
But it is Ronaldo and Messi leaving Europe.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, mine was based on more old, but that should have made my list. But yeah.
Yeah, I just thought of this right now.
Yeah, I'll put that as my honorable mention.
All right, reason being is in my top 10, Ronaldo, Messi, the two greatest players in this generation, maybe all time.
Yeah.
Right. Not playing UCL anymore. It's kind of sad sight to see now. Obviously, they're getting up there in age, 35, 37. And they've been at the top for 10 plus years now.
Yeah.
So just Ronaldo left mid-season, right? So maybe January, and then Messi obviously a couple weeks ago. So just now you're shit, it's the end of a generation, end of an era, and we're gonna see one in the MLS and other in Saudi.
Yeah, and you're seeing corresponding moves, right? A bunch of people joining Saudi, a couple people have joined Miami right now. So yeah, no, I should have definitely had that on my list, but like I said, mine was based on more of the stuff people in general may have forgotten that happened before, let's say May. But I agree with that. So I would have definitely moved my 10 off the list and maybe pushed some other things down.
What you got?
My 10 was McDavid's year.
Okay, yeah, McDavid year.
The reason why I have it 10, I know it could have been higher. Or people said, why would you even put it? Because it's Connor McDavid. it's just you haven't seen that type of offensive performance in like a 82 game span, right? Like I know he went off in that shortened year, the 56 year after the bubble, but like I'll pull up his stats quickly. He was not much of a goal scorer, and this year he was told by Leon Draisaitl to get
Shoot
more
more.
goals and shoot more, and he won the Rocket Richard. So like the fact that he wasn't unanimous and someone decided to put him fifth place was mind blowing to me. But overall, in the season, he had 153 points, right? 64 goals.
That's insane.
First time he hit that, I believe.
Yeah.
And 89 assists.
I
He led it on all three.
insane numbers. That's
Right?
absolutely insane numbers.
Power
right
play
there.
points 71. Top three are Oilers, which makes sense. So that year, insane. Like, and then it's not even just like, oh yeah, it's Connor McDavid just putting up points. It's like flashy plays as well. So
It just Connor McDavid.
yeah, I had to put him on
Like,
it.
how is this guy gonna be? How's this guy gonna take a next step?
Yeah,
And obviously, winning a cup is one. But if you're talking about regular season wise, this was it. Like having a 60 goal season, after Matthews had hit a 60 goal season,
but having
just absolutely
150
insane.
something points.
But adding another like 80
And
plus assists.
you're playing with Draisaitl, and usually you're not on the ice at the same time because Draisaitl's a center.
Unless it's power
5-on-5.
Yeah.
Unless it's a power play. So the fact that you're like, it's, I guess you could say it's still a little bit easier because you guys are separate in the ice, but you only get a certain amount of ice time in a game, right? So per shift, and usually every time you're on a shift, you expect a point, at least a point a shift type of thing.
a game, not a shift. That's a little bit
True,
too much.
but
at
least
least
he's
a
a
game.
threat. He's a threat for
Yeah.
a point.
Yeah, obviously.
Let's move on. Number 9, I'll go. The NBA trade deadline.
Bro,
9.
that was my number 9.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
considering number 10.
I had it higher, but
Yeah.
I had it higher. I'm like, no, I gotta lower it because with my other stuff.
Yeah,
NBA
yeah.
trade deadline was arguably the greatest trade deadline in sports, at least in our lifetime, like my
Yeah,
lifetime.
what we witnessed, right?
Yeah.
Or like in a while.
In what world do you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving traded during the season?
And then on top of that, you got Lakers moves that they made,
Yeah.
which are like D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, all those guys coming in and absolutely just flipping their roster and making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like to me, before the deadline, bro, NBA was just dead to me, right? I didn't watch much and anything like that. But then, moment you got Kyrie Irving traded, you got Kevin Durant traded, like, oh shit, yo,
And then
this is gonna be some good games to finish off.
the Kyrie Irving, sorry, not the Kyrie Irving, the KD trade happened what, midnight our time PST,
Yeah,
around there, like between 10 to 12
Yeah, around there.
PM PST, which means for the people in the East Coast, like Brooklyn, for example, they found out like 2 a.m. type of thing,
yeah.
right? That would have been prime breaking news if we had a podcast going on.
If you had it then, yeah, right.
But like some trades you see here,
Russell Westbrook got moved.
yeah, so like, well, that was part of the D'Lo trade.
Yeah, no, but like it's still
But I'm just saying, like, okay, so Kevin
big
Durant,
name getting moved.
Kevin Durant with trade was big. Jay Crowder trade, relatively decent.
It was like
one
what,
of seconds
4
you gave
seconds
up,
or something?
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
You know, like a bunch of trades happened. McDaniels, Eric Gordon, like names like even these are smaller names, but the amount, like the trade deadline helped the Lakers go to the conference finals. Pretty much.
no, like not even conference finals, from like missing the play-in
Yeah.
to making a playoff.
You had also had the drama of the whole Gary Payton situation and whether the medical would have canceled the trade or not.
Oh yeah,
With the 4-team trade there with Wiseman to the Pistons and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, you got random trades going down all day. Mo Bamba gets traded. Thomas Bryant gets traded randomly from the Lakers.
Mike Conley went to the
Yeah, which was, again, part of that deal.
But I'm saying like 3 big
You
point
guys
guards.
brought back Jakob Pertl, which happened right before the KD
There were a lot of
trade.
reunions, right? There were a lot
Yeah,
of like
a lot.
reunions.
Yeah, another thing, a lot of Jakob Pertl, D'Angelo Russell, T.J. Warren. I know there was more, but Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, so like these were like there was a big trades, and obviously all sports trade deadline were kind of decent, I would say, but the NBA one blew everyone out of the water.
Yeah, because
like
if-
the NFL one was not that bad either, but
Yeah, NFL was decent.
compared to the other years. But this NBA one, like you'd never have a top 5 player in the league get traded,
And
during
then
the
another
season.
like top 15.
They
player.
usually never get traded in the off season, let
yeah,
alone mid season.
and another top 15 player.
Yeah. So okay, I thought that was something you may have forgotten, but no.
No, I had that.
All right, 8. I'm sticking with basketball. Draymond Green versus Jordan Poole.
Okay, so you put that in?
I put it in.
I didn't put that in.
There was another fight that happened. That's in my honorable mention to the T-Wolves fight,
Yeah.
which happened during the year, which screwed them over against the Lakers, kind of. But
Yeah,
this one was much bigger, right? It was like at a practice. How the hell did, TMZ, I believe, get footage
Yeah, right.
of
Because
the
like,
fight. You saw all the clear punch that Draymond had, and now if you look at it in hindsight, it obviously ruined their chemistry a little bit. And then Jordan Poole now just got shipped off, so to Washington.
it did affect their season a lot, especially coming off a title.
Yeah,
You expect like, oh, they're boys, they're like partying and shit, just have like the fun time together. So
That's
yeah,
mine.
that really surprised me when that happened.
yeah. Number 8 for you.
My number 8 was giving a team their flowers. Vegas Golden Knights winning their first
Okay, so
cup.
I put them in my honorable mention.
Dominant playoff run. They predicted 6 years. Their owner or GM, whoever it was, I forgot. The 6 years win a cup, and they won a cup in 6 years. Dominated Winnipeg. Yeah, Edmonton was a little bit tough, but still a 4-2 victory. Dominated Dallas. It shouldn't have been a 4-2 victory. That should have been a 4-0. And then dominated Florida in the finals. And yeah, a lot of like, there's like 6 original players, right? Winning a cup. So it's good to see because those guys, if you think about it, their storyline is good because those guys got dropped. If you think about it, because they weren't protected.
Yeah.
So to them, it's like they got waived or something.
Yeah, no, for me it's like I have them in honorable mention because it wasn't like an underdog story for me. That's all.
Yeah, right.
I thought they were still one of they could have won it.
They
could
were
have won
top
it
5 in
easily
the playoffs,
earlier.
right? Yeah.
They could have won it not last year, the year before.
They were top 5 in the playoffs
Yeah,
team,
so
right? They were like
that's why I
out of the
had
list.
them and the Nuggets for me in honorable mention because I felt like they were still favorites to win.
And then moving on to 7, I put the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. So you definitely
Reason
missed
being,
some because I have like
reason being, one, I like the Nuggets more than Vegas, so this was just like
a little biased.
a little bit biased, but
I
whatever.
mean, hey, it's our
I had to
favorite
go, yeah.
storylines.
I had to
plus
go
the
back
big
to back
ones.
with these guys just because
Yeah.
it was like a similar playoff run. They were both
Yeah.
really dominant. They were clearly the best team in the playoffs and the best team in each in their respective league, right?
Yeah.
And then Nuggets, Jamal Murray's comeback story, Nikola Jokic just taking his
Proving
game
that
to
he's-
another
proving
level
that-
and
yeah.
proving he's the best big in the league. Michael Porter Jr. story with like multiple back surgeries and coming back and putting in some effective minutes in for the Nuggets.
And then in
then-
hindsight, you looked at Bruce Brown getting his bag.
And
because
Bruce
of
Brown, yeah, getting his bag, and also year before saying that like he has 0 offers, and then
Yeah.
went to the Nuggets because Michael Malone's like, how the hell are you not signed yet? So that's why they had storylines with all those guys, and also they didn't add anyone, right? This was like what they built together, and what they've been
Yeah.
building for like multiple years. So
yeah, I love it.
that's another
I
story.
love the way it went down. They obviously went a little bit different from the Vegas route. So
Yeah.
no. My honorable mention just because I thought they were still favorites, kind of favorites to win it. Again, when the playoffs started, I'm assuming from there,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yeah.
preseason wise, but when the playoffs started, I felt like it was gonna be between them, the Suns, the Lakers, Warriors. Obviously, how NBA playoffs work, you end up playing each other. So then it became the Lakers and Nuggets. I'm like, okay, even though I had the Lakers winning, I wasn't like totally surprised. Like, the only thing that surprised me was a sweep, but outside of that, I'm like, I wasn't gonna be surprised if the Nuggets had won the series anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So your 7 is
this one hits home.
what?
Canucks versus Boudreaux.
Oh, you actually put it on there?
I put it on it.
I was
And
actually-
It's a big. Okay, so listen, I understand we're Canucks fans, and this might be a little bit biased, but it's not at the same time because when you look at that time in January before Bruce got fired, this was a story heading from last off season, and all of Canada was talking about it. TSN,
It was the story,
Sportsnet,
yeah.
it was the story. What the hell are the Canucks doing with Boudreaux? And those of you that don't know what happened with the situation, essentially, Bruce Boudreaux was signed through an extra year. So he came in, filled in for Travis Green for the rest of the year. Apparently, Jim Rutherford didn't know the Canucks president of hockey operations. There was an extension on his contract, like a team. But either way, they could have not brought him back. I don't know how much ownership had a say in this because obviously Bruce did it is. He became the most popular coach in probably NHL history, the way it looked like.
Yeah, and Bruce did a good job when he came in
Yeah.
year before.
And then obviously he struggled in the beginning, and you would keep hearing Alvin, mainly Rutherford, saying the habits are not good.
Yeah, but-
the system isn't the greatest. Blah blah blah. And then,
which is true, but you shouldn't be bashing your coach before the season even
who's a
starts.
well-respected coach? Like,
Yeah, he's a well-respected coach. He did something for the Canucks that, like, brought us excitement. It's like, okay, these guys, if we had Boudreaux the whole year, we might have made the playoffs.
obviously that
And then
didn't become
obviously,
true.
yeah. But then what is Rutherford's fault is like, why are you going public saying that you don't want this coach? This is not
Yeah.
our coach.
Like,
That's on you. Like, what do you expect is gonna happen? The confidence is gonna be lower than it already
your
is.
job is to, like, Bruce is smart because Bruce could have easily quit.
Yeah.
Which means he wasn't gonna get his contract. If he gets fired, he would get the contract, which
Yeah.
he obviously did. So, for me, it was like Bruce was well loved. Did he deserve to get fired? Yes, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because it didn't
obviously.
work out. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the whole situation was a shit show across the league. Like the way the stuff was
brutal.
handled. You hear like Craig Button saying like, "What the hell?" Like, this guy's one of the top winningest coaches in NHL history, regular season history. Yes, he did not have playoff success, but yeah, just the way that Canucks season was going was, and then the whole Boudreaux situation, I had to put it on the list because again, I felt like it was a big storyline on the NHL side of things.
Yeah, it was a big storyline. It was the storyline at that moment, and it's just not a way. It's just disrespectful how they handle it.
7, did you give it?
7. That was 7.
So that was your Nuggets, right?
That was my Nuggets.
Okay,
Yeah.
so number 6, the Kelsey Bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
So
the
I didn't put
Kelsey
this Kansas City winning Super Bowl as a thing because like obviously they were
So
one
you-
of the favorites to win it. I put it as
You
two
worded it a
brothers.
little bit different.
I worded it different. I went
Yeah.
Kelsey Bowl because it was Jason Kelsey from the Eagles versus Travis Kelsey on the Chiefs side of things. And plus there were other storylines, Andy Reid versus his whole team, and then other built Knicks.
The 2 best teams in each conference because they were the number 1 seeds.
So, but for me, it was the brothers going at it. The mom wearing the split jersey was something, a nice spectacle to see. You know, she was in a win-win, lose-lose situation. I don't know how to word it because either way, she has a son winning, but the lose-lose is like, okay,
So it's
well,
a win-lose, is it?
well, win-win. You can
Win-win, lose-lose.
It's win-win situation because
you
you have
word
a
it?
son winning. Lose-lose situation, you have to console a son at the same time. So, and the game itself was amazing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to like give the flowers here because like the last time we saw brothers in the Super Bowl, that Super Bowl game itself was the 2 coaches, the Harbaugh brothers,
Yeah.
Jim and John, right? When it was Niners Ravens.
versus Ravens.
So this one was like as players, and I don't think we've seen it before, or it's been a while since we have seen it before.
Yeah. My number 6 was Man City finally getting it done.
That's my honorable mention.
Man City. Yes,
put it as a treble or something,
You may not like how they got it done. But
Hey, 115 charges.
they produced.
So I disagree with
Yeah, I know, but they produced their best season in club history.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Treble, obviously.
EPL you've been winning, right? FA Cup you've been winning, but the one that you alluded to the most was the UCL, and obviously you made a good signing in Erling Haaland, right? Because that was the missing piece,
Yeah.
right? They didn't really have the world class striker, and especially when Aguero left, Erling Haaland was the perfect replacement for them.
The second coach to get a English treble since Ferguson, and for Pep, on the Pep side of things, it's like, yeah, people are saying he's the GOAT now. Obviously, me and you have something to say about that, but outside of that, it propelled them for sure. Like, yes, they're a money franchise. At least they're doing something with it, unlike, you know, the guys over in France at PSG. So, yeah, no, I agree. I just didn't put him on. Again, like I said, it was more recent news, and I put him in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, if they didn't obviously win the UCL, they wouldn't be on the list.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, you know, you finally got the job done, it's been eluding you for a while. Yes, people don't like the way they did it, but results matter.
It's the way now, right?
Results matter, right? And they found a way to get results.
Yeah.
Right? The players and coach have to work hard to get the results. It's a different story. Like, you got to bring them together, right? You could buy everyone, whoever you want, but if you don't,
Yeah, it's not an
if
easy
as
thing
a
to
player,
do, like-
as a player and as a coach, if you're not playing like a team, you ain't winning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
not an
then-
easy thing for sure. So
Yeah, they figured that out.
They figured it out. That was 5, right?
That was 6.
6. Okay, so it's 5 now.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Well, I'll go.
I want to see
I'll
if you
go, yeah.
forgot this.
My number 5 is Chiefs and Eagles put on a Super Bowl classic.
Oh, okay. So, we kind of talked about it, but
Yeah,
give your
it's
side of things.
storylines. Chiefs Eagles, absolute incredible game.
Yeah.
Right, like you said before, storylines were like
Jalen. Sorry,
Andy Reid facing his old team. You got Mahomes. Question marks were on the Chiefs with like Tyreek Hill getting traded.
at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And then how is it going to affect Mahomes and stuff? And it didn't much because he won MVP and the Super Bowl MVP. Kelsey brothers going at each other. Obviously, we saw a good post-game moment of them hugging it out, right? And then finally, for me, was, like you're about to say, Jalen Hurts taking a big step forward.
Yeah. Obviously, the next year's big question mark. We'll cover this when the NFL season's gonna approach us. He lost his OC. He's now obviously the Colts head coach. But is Jalen Hurts jump not, I want to say fluke, but is he gonna carry this over? Or
Yeah,
how
right.
How much will it diminish? But this is a Super Bowl game. It's the first time ever you're in a Super Bowl. It's the biggest game in anybody's life. Yeah, you did not win it, but you're not the reason why. I guess you lost.
You
it.
lost it, right? Yeah, because
Did he know he fumbled? But
that was one turnover.
yeah,
that he did.
it was
but
one turnover, but obviously
there
a game
there were
of
defensive
is
question
margins.
marks.
But you still can't say it was just.
There's a
It wasn't just him that lost it.
There was a Kadarius Toney punt return that like went like almost for a touchdown.
Special teams factor there.
That's special teams factor. You got defensive breakdowns because of what was it, Juju on James Bradbury, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was a final touchdown, and then obviously a drive before, I think Kadarius Toney got a walk-in touchdown as well.
Yeah, so it's not on Jalen Hurts, but we got to see another potential superstar in the
we got a
superstar performance, that's for sure.
From both teams, and Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes.
And Jalen Hurts' story wasn't like he sticking to the storyline, because you said the storyline right about the Super Bowl. He was cut, essentially not cut. He was the second option at Alabama when Tua came in. Then he went to Oklahoma, had a killer year, but he was a second round pick. Then he had the whole Carson Wentz ahead of him, and then he outplayed
Carson Wentz,
and got rid of Carson Wentz essentially, and then he took over the role, made the playoffs the year before,
lost to the Bucs,
and then this year obviously took it off to the next level.
Yeah.
My 5, not sure if you have this.
What?
Caitlin Clark and the Women's March Madness.
Okay, yeah.
For me, it's a top 5 performance. I gotta give some love to the female sports community. You don't have it?
Well, I don't have it on my list, but
I'll say it.
That was an incredible performance.
One of the greatest college basketball performance, both male and female, in my opinion.
In that final
especially
four,
that
right?
year,
that final four, especially
in this year's 2023 NCAA tournaments, the male one was like a dud. Right?
Yeah, no, the women's one was better.
Yeah, there were storylines of Purdue losing and stuff. I get it, but in terms of watching the game, it was like, I'm gonna get to the Women's March Madness. I'm gonna give Caitlin Clark her flowers first, because LSU deserves their flowers as well. But like you alluded to it, the South Carolina game, this Final Four, insane.
We're like, okay, this is what the run is.
She's female Steph Curry, like the way she's like putting up shots and everything.
Yeah, she dropped a 40 bomb, I think, a game before, right?
Triple doubles left.
Yeah, and then we're like, okay, you're playing South Carolina. South Carolina, right?
The greatest team.
Yeah, like legit. Leah Boston, #1 overall pick. And you're like, okay, there's no way. Defending champs as well.
Yeah.
All right, like, okay, Iowa, you found your match. Caitlin Clark, this is gonna be too much to climb over. Drops another 40-point triple double, and that was, I'm pretty sure it was triple double, right? 40-point triple double that game.
Yeah, it was like 9.
Whatever it is, it's something close to it, and it was an absolute show.
Yeah.
Right. To take out the #1 team in the country.
It was
absolutely insane.
No one was watching the men's side of things when that game was on.
It was insane.
And so I'll obviously allude to it. They ended up losing to the finals to LSU, and there's some storylines there. She ran out of gas. The only thing that pissed me off of the LSU game was the freaking reffing. Like
reffing was brutal.
Angel
right?
Reese foul trouble early. Caitlin Clark foul trouble early. The rest of the other
the
stars.
Iowa center was foul trouble early.
Yeah, so there were like foul troubles early. But let's talk about LSU quickly. Obviously, LSU, pretty good sports year run for them. They have the highest paid female athlete in Livy Dunn. Their baseball team just won the College World Series.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, we're talking about the women's team. Angel Reese showed out, balled out, was essentially big man, big woman. I guess I don't know how to play it. Constant double-doubles, like rebounds and points. And she was in foul trouble. Didn't need it. Kim Mulkey, obviously, arguably one of the greatest coaches in college history. Looks like a freaking Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, like an evil witch or something.
She actually looks evil.
Yeah. She looks evil, but obviously she ain't. But you have to give credit to them for shutting down, I guess, Caitlin Clark, because she was struggling from the field.
Yeah,
But the storyline that came after, which was kind of stupid, was the whole ring me thing in front of Caitlin Clark's face. And I'm not taking it into the racist side of things, because I feel like that's a little too far. But I think you kind of have to admit to it, like if Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark did the whole "you can't see me."
They were just trash talk.
There was trash talk on both sides, and the fact that they made it only on Angel Reese is kind of bullshit to me. So that's where I could. Usually, I don't like bringing racial factors, but that might have been like a racially motivated thing. But for me, it's like we love it. Like that's what you want in sports,
and they respect.
Imagine if Angel Reese and the LSU Tigers choked that game somehow. Now I know they did it close to the end of the game, but it would have been hilarious that in that
Yeah.
sense. Like if it was a closer game and it happened, but you want that like that's how you make women's sports more
Well, start
attractive to watch, I guess. You could say.
start being a dickhead a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Like you want that, and
Yeah.
people love it. You want to see the thing, and then all those people like saying, "Oh yeah, she's a, you know, she's a menace to the sport or whatever. Like she can't be bad sportsmanship." Like, don't get me wrong, I love great sportsmanship. We watched the Volkanovski fight yesterday, which we'll get into later on, and he's like the most sportsmanship guy you could see in
He's like-
sports. I love that, but at the same time, you still kind of want to see that. You know, that egos going at it and then talking your trash.
Yeah,
Which
like-
works out. Like you see Steph Curry last year in the playoffs do his night celebrations all the time to the Boston crowd. Like you want to see all of that.
Yeah.
And if you could take it, if you're able to give it, you should be able to take it. And I give huge credit to Caitlin Clark because she's like, I'm fine with it. It's part of the game. I
Yeah.
did it. She obviously it wasn't towards LSU, but LSU did it back, and she's like, yeah, it's fine. There's no issues. I have no personal beef with her. That's the whole different. Like as long as there's no personal beef at the end of the day, that's what matters. So yeah.
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, they handled it well, and it was just a storyline that was just taking too much than it was.
That was 5. You did your 5.
Yeah.
4. Here is, I don't know. I think you have this.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout.
I don't have this
You butchered it.
because I have another
Okay,
baseball
but
one.
no, for me this is like the thing that happened.
Yeah, it was that story.
World
I did
Baseball
forget about
Classic.
it. I did forget about this.
World Baseball Classic, Japan versus USA final. Last at bat, perfectly written storyline.
The two best
The
players.
two best players, two teammates in the world, two best players in the world, two teammates. Shohei Ohtani pitching against Mike Trout, and what a spectacle it was. I have a guy I work with who doesn't know much about baseball. He watched one, I think, the semifinals of the classic, the World Baseball Classic, and he was like, "What the hell?" And then he was like messaging me, he's like, "Oh my god, this moment is sick," and he has no clue.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Our cousin doesn't watch baseball, and he watched that moment. He comes up to me instantly. He's like, "That's the sickest moment I've witnessed in a long time."
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously Otani got the upper edge, with the strikeout. But oh my god, that at bat, I dropped everything and just started watching it.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, okay, whatever school, screw that. Whatever, making food, whatever's going on, screw that. I'm watching this moment.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens.
I had to. I'm gonna cut it off. Jeevan Badwal, man, stop messaging me during the pod. He missed call. That's why I was texting right now. I'm like, okay, recording. I don't know if he called you.
Oh yeah, no.
Again, we're saying his name because people know him by now. That's why. But Jeevan, well, I'll get back to you in a second here. But
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait a little bit.
yeah. But no, I feel like that was
I'll just quickly mess him back, but keep going.
yeah. Baseball, it was not a great sport to watch in some people's eyes, and this moment, for at least for the younger generation, it was key in my opinion. Like, how often do you get this storyline? It was the final out, and then Shohei strikes him out,
That's insane moment.
or Mike Trout hits a home run to tie the game.
And then also the changes that baseball are making, like, obviously should help, like, the younger generation get back into the game, because baseball was the sport, like, in the 2000s.
Back then, yeah.
And it's
Like in our
definitely fallen
family,
off.
I was the original guy that watched baseball.
Yeah, and then obviously
Oh,
through
well,
you.
maybe Jeevan's dad or mom did follow it,
But obviously through you, I started watching it
Yeah.
too, right? My number 4 is also baseball, but it's not that. And I don't know if you have this or not.
I don't. This is my only baseball one I had.
That's your only baseball one?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, holy shit, how did I forget about
Are you
this?
gonna talk about Domingo Herman?
It's not Domingo Herman's perfect
something
game.
that's worry.
It is Albert Pujols hitting his 700th home run in his final season.
Yeah. Okay. I completely forgot about that. That would have been
That-
that would have been lower on my list. I think Ohtani Trout was higher, but
Yeah, I forgot about the Otani Trout. I'll
because
be
like the
honest with you.
OGs would know Albert Pujols like me. Like, there's a reason why you gifted me that.
Yeah, that was for
That's
you.
the 700th. Those of you guys that are watching on YouTube, or sorry, I keep messing it up. Those of you guys that are listening to this, instead of you can come to our YouTube channel at this moment, and you could see like a little.
Yeah, it's all his accomplishments: 703 home runs, 3,000 plus hits, 296 batting average.
That
but,
was the pretty
yeah.
much the Cardinals season, and they obviously made the playoffs.
And they also made the
still last
playoffs,
year.
right?
My favorite player, batting wise, of all time. Obviously, my favorite player is still Roy Halladay. But in terms of like for my favorite batter, it's Albert Pujols, and I definitely missed it.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we both missed one big one each.
yeah,
but
but it's a Hall of Fame career.
700.
biggest
Not
question
many
mark,
people are ahead
yeah.
of him. Like he's fourth all time.
Like, he's like fourth all time.
Yeah.
And the biggest question mark in the season was, can he hit 700? Because I think he was like at 690 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he had to hit like double digits.
This was
to
his
get it.
last. That was his last year. So if he had missed out on it, it would have been like.
It would have been like shit.
It would have been shit, right?
And then I think he went on a
a
little stretch where he hit like,
couple of them.
like a few games in a row.
Yeah.
And then I think he hit it on the Dodgers ultimately, who he
Exactly.
played for as well. So it was just a good moment. I think it was away, which sucked a little bit, but at the end of the day, the moment was sick itself.
Yeah. I definitely messed up, but yeah, no. Shout out to a legend for obviously first ballot Hall of Famer, World Series champ. Could have done better, the Angels, obviously, but it was a perfect storybook ending there too because he came home and did it with St. Louis.
With St. Louis.
So, yeah.
Our top three, I feel like it might be the same.
Okay, my three. DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, so I wrote down DeMar Hamlin's road to recovery.
Okay, so DeMar Hamlin had a cardiac arrest type episode
On like Monday Night Football
on a Monday
game.
Night Football game close to the end of the season against the Bills. DeMar Hamlin, he's on the Bills
He's on
against
the
the
Bills,
Bengals.
against the Bengals.
DeMar Hamlin is a safety for the Bills. First quarter comes. Now, this is a big storyline. I wouldn't say this is our favorite storyline in terms of what happened.
I mean, the road to recovery.
Road recovery, yeah. And obviously, his life was on the line. The game ultimately got postponed or canceled. And then now he's not fully recovered, but pretty much recovered.
And he's
able to play.
he's able to play again.
So
and,
yeah,
and he wants to play
recovered.
again.
Yeah, like he is able to play. And the reason why this is a big storyline, you don't often see people getting CPR on the field. Right. The last time this happened was Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing. This is a contact sport.
The thing with the Eriksen one is we got news like the day of, like, that he's awake and alert.
Yeah.
For the DeMar Hamlin, we had to wait like 4 or 5 days to up to a week.
Yeah.
Just to get his eyes open.
This happened in Cincinnati, so it wasn't the Cincinnati hospital. You saw players from both teams going, and
then credit to the Cincinnati hospital doctors and all the
took over.
staff, right?
Yeah.
And then also the Buffalo Bills training staff as well, because that's something you don't deal with often at all.
Yeah. So, and then now, like you mentioned, the road to recovery, he's pretty much recovered. He's able to play football again, so it's great to see. So that's why it was still one of the biggest storylines, because again, you don't see CPR done on the field often.
Yeah, but then obviously with good news coming up, it's kind of like good to see now, like the road he went well recovery wise. He was at the Super Bowl watching, right? And then he was able to walk around and everything. It was just a good sight to see at the end, right?
Okay, let's move on, because I think we have the same. Number 2, LeBron passes Kareem.
Yeah.
Okay, so a record that once upon a time that was supposed to never be broken. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the leading scoring record, ultimately retired with 38 point something.
38,000 something, yeah.
Yeah, and now this past season, LeBron obviously broke the record. That was mainly the biggest watch, because at the beginning of the year, people were like, it was kind of like, it's weird because for the Cardinals, people were waiting for Pujols to hit 700. Now people are waiting to OV to pass Gretzky, which is their thing. For the Lakers, it was like, oh, they're probably not going to make the playoffs because, their roster wasn't the greatest. So it's just LeBron watch. And obviously, we know what happened after, as you alluded to earlier with the trade deadline, but he passed 38K, whatever it was.
He passed Kareem.
Yeah,
that's what matters,
Kareem.
right?
And
yeah, so for me, like, because we were both watching it together, right?
Yeah.
And I was getting ready for soccer practice, and I'm like, yo, I don't care if I'm late, I'm gonna watch this, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like, I think it was like I had to leave at 9, or actually no, my practice started at 9, so I had to leave at 8:45, right?
Yeah.
And then he was going off that game, right? We're like, okay, yo, this guy should get it before the fourth quarter, and then
Which he did.
And which he did, right? But then we're like, okay, yo, halftime's here. I was praying for him to get in the second quarter so I could leave and go to practice on time. And then I was like, okay, he didn't hit it, bro. I'm gonna wait till the third quarter. If the third quarter ends, then I'll leave. and he hit in the third quarter. Because I didn't want to be like this, where like someone comes up to me and we're like, "Where were you when LeBron broke the record?"
Driving
and
to
I'm
soccer
like,
practice.
driving to soccer practice? Like, hell no, that's so stupid. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it and then show up to practice. I think we're like 5 guys there, anyways.
Yeah.
So I show up like what,
Yeah.
15 minutes late, but I don't care. I got to witness that moment, and it was definitely the biggest moment in the NBA season, I would say.
Yeah. Off the bat, will that record ever be broken? He's still playing, so it's still gonna get add on.
Yeah, it's still gonna
in the
add
40s
on.
now.
I don't know. I
guess
don't think so.
The
I
evolution
genuinely,
of the 3-point game is
because when you thought about it, right, we're like, okay, when Kareem hit it, we're like, okay, maybe Michael passed it, but obviously
he didn't play long enough.
he didn't play long enough. Then we're like, okay, maybe Kobe.
He got injured.
He got injured and he was close. He was close.
5K
But if he didn't get his
yeah.
Achilles tore, you're like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
he would have had a chance. Then obviously LeBron, who's probably been played the most out of those guys. We're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense for LeBron to like, put your money on LeBron to get it.
Yeah.
And then I don't really see that guy right now because of like,
He's-
who is that guy that's
The
young
problem-
right now?
We don't know.
We-
right?
there's, like,
it could
there's
be a
n-
guy in 10 years. for
Because
all
like
we know.
when LeBron and Kobe were young, we were like, okay, yeah, these guys, it's these guys. Like, these are the guys.
Here's the thing: if the NBA passes the rule of, getting into the league out of high school, plus the elevation of the 3-point game, who knows what's happened if there will ever be a 4-point line? Obviously not anytime soon. Then sure, but because of the evolution of the 3-point game, you won't be surprised, either.
Yeah, but we're just waiting for the. Obviously, Wembanyama is the guy this year, but like, it's gonna be tough. I don't know how his career is gonna pan out.
Yeah.
But like when LeBron got drafted, right? We're like, okay, this guy is generational.
Yeah.
So realistically, after that, Wembanyama's probably the only one
Right now, yeah.
that you could
We'll
say.
see.
But then, in my opinion, right now, there's no young guy that's like that generational right now. Especially like there's a bunch of good guys, like great guys, like there's Luka, Tatum, and all these guys who are like young, but nothing speaks to me like how LeBron did when he was first entering the league.
Which was more impressive to you? Kareem getting 38K with all pretty much skyhooks?
All skyhooks.
Or LeBron?
I mean,
LeBron had more time, I guess you could say.
yeah.
Plus the 3-point shot helps. He did it in less time.
Yeah. So
but the 3-point shot
yeah.
helped that out.
So what's more impressive for me is like LeBron and his just longevity in his career,
Yeah.
and the fact that he was like able to stay like avoid the big injuries,
Yeah.
right? And then what is impressive about Kareem is like he did it with all twos. And if Kareem had some sort of 3-point shot, we don't know how many he could have gotten.
Yeah.
But so
Same thing with
There's-
Shaq. Same
yeah,
with
same with
Wilt
Shaq
all
and
these
everything,
guys,
right?
but
Like,
yeah. Like Wilt
so
hit 100.
they're both impressive like in their own way.
Yeah.
With Kareem being, just taking with twos, and
Yeah.
LeBron just being that healthy for that long.
The funny thing with that night was just like everything shut down and there was still a basketball game to be played, and the Lakers did make a comeback and then choked the lead. Not lead, but they choked the comeback.
Yeah, right. Like they gave LeBron an interview, like
The whole interview.
a speech, and
Adam
then
Silver was there. Kareem passed him the game.
yeah, right.
the
Kareem passed him the ball, and it was
And
like
then-
like 2 minutes left in a quarter or something.
And then the game was tied, and then all of a sudden, OKC is like, what, screw this. I think everything that LeBron passed, whoever he passed or any records, he lost all those games. I remember
Actually,
when
yeah.
he passed Kobe, that was the day before Kobe passed away, is when he passed Kobe all time.
Yeah.
We got destroyed by the Sixers. I remember that night. So, yeah. That's our number 2.
All right.
Before we
Before
get to number 1.
let's go over to honorable mentions.
All right, because we have the same one. I know it for a fact. Number 1. Sorry, my
I
honorable
have
mentions.
I have 4, but I'm definitely missing some. Like obviously Atani Trout,
Okay, name
and then
yours.
like
Yeah.
the women's college,
Yeah.
and then obviously my first one. I'm just gonna name it. It happened yesterday. That Pantoja Moreno fight. Holy shit! I just added in there because that is the fight of the year so far.
I wouldn't
and
put it
I'm like-
I wouldn't put it as like the biggest storyline of the year.
Yeah, I know, but like I know it's not like they're not as big as like
Yeah.
they're not big names compared to like LeBron and all these guys. But that fight was absolutely insane. You would agree. We're like our eyes were glued.
We'll get into the UFC.
Yeah, we'll
results
get into
later
it, but
on.
I just put it in there
Yeah.
just because, like, fuck it, why not? And then obviously one you gave me was Pereira Izzy rivalry.
Yeah.
And obviously ended up with Izzy knockout
Yeah.
and the insane celebration. So those are my UFC ones, giving respect to combat sports.
Yeah. Just list all of yours and then.
And then my 2 other ones remaining: Dusty Baker wins the World Series.
Okay. But,
Yes, Astros cheated. I don't respect you, but you respect Dusty Baker.
Yeah.
So like what? There were like mixed emotions of them winning.
Yeah, I completely forgot about
And
that. To be
then
honest.
this is just like, multiple combined into one. Just Cinderella story runs. Obviously, with the World Cup, you had Morocco, Croatia, and then
Heat,
NBA, you got Miami Heat, NHL, Florida Panthers,
Yeah.
right? So then just absolute Cinderella runs there,
Okay.
and I just put them in.
So mine were the T-Wolves fight because it happened during the live game,
Yeah,
which resulted in Rudy Gobert getting suspended by the team, and then ultimately was one of the factors. Well, even though they were winning that Lakers game, collapsing. The Kings season, Sacramento Kings
yeah,
season.
Kings season.
Aaron Rodgers Jets storyline.
Yeah, that was a big move in
That
the
was a
season.
big thing that happened. So for me, now this is where my combat sports comes in. First one you mentioned, Izzy and Pereira, plus any other like the UFC, like Shevchenko.
Yeah,
Like part of your
Shevchenko,
part of your Cinderella run, like
the Cinderella,
Grasso
the underdog
winning.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So that boxing, we're finally getting some big fights
Oh,
announced
okay, yeah,
this
yeah.
year. We got Bud Spence. Sorry, yeah, Bud and Spence
Bud and
happening.
Spence, yeah.
I'm pissed off. We might be missing that fight because I decided to get Canadians tickets, but that was one. You got Garcia Tank happening, which was
A little bit underwhelming.
yeah, but it was still like the hype was real.
Yeah, the hype was real,
Benavid Diaz and Caleb Plant was a little bit smaller than that, but it was
but
still
the
up
fight
there.
was good. It was a good fight.
Yeah, and then we'll get into some. But then obviously the heavyweights are still pissing me off, which we'll get into later today. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was that one. The NHL Pride jersey situation.
Yeah.
Vegas and Nuggets you already mentioned. The City Trouble you mentioned, and the last one I had for soccer was Chelsea and Arsenal positionings. Like Chelsea,
Yeah, like
finishing
Chelsea
12th, and
finishing
then,
12 and Arsenal taking a big jump forward.
yeah. So those are our honorable mentions. At this point, if you feel like we've missed anything, let us know. But we still gotta name our number one.
And I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is.
Jovan's already kind of wearing it,
And it
but
is
it's
Messi.
the World Cup. For me, it's just a World Cup in general.
Yeah, I know, but I went a little bit specific saying Messi winning the World Cup. But obviously, it's the World Cup in general.
So
First of all, World Cup final, greatest game you ever witnessed.
yeah. So the funny story with the World Cup final was, oh my god, this game's a dud. I kind of hope, even though I was rooting for Argentina to win because of Messi, right? And I was like, oh, this game's a dud though. I kind of want to have
And
an
then
entertaining game.
legit,
And right as soon as I said that, Mbappe goes off.
like Randy Orton,
RKO out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. Kylian Mbappe scored 2 goals like within 4 minutes, 2 minutes. I don't even
Yeah.
know. That probably even might be less. And the second goal being a little side flying volley. And then from that point on, we're like, holy shit, extra time,
Yeah.
right? And then extra time itself, Messi got himself a goal, and then Mbappe got a penalty, and which led to the biggest moment of the match, with the Emi Martinez save on Randall Kolo Muani
Yeah.
in the 120th minute, legit.
Yeah.
Kolo Muani on a little break, Martinez with a little like split leg save, whatever you want to call it. It was like such a big moment because the French squad was on the field when Kolo Muani took the shot.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how like everyone celebrates as the World
Yeah,
Cup?
yeah.
Obviously, they're all gonna come on the field and celebrate. They were legit halfway on the field, and then they had to run off because Martinez
Saved it.
saved it. And obviously, I think was it after that Lautaro Martinez missed a chance as well.
I don't remember.
But I don't think it
fully.
was as big.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I know Lautaro Martinez missed either before or after.
Yeah, and then
To win
obviously
it
the
all.
PKs.
And then
Martinez,
PKs,
got
and
him up
then
there.
if you don't know who Gonzalo Montiel was, you definitely knew him after that game.
Yeah. Yeah, so you alluded to the game. For me, prior to the World Cup, was 2 big storylines. Messi, Ronaldo's potential last World Cup.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know if Ronaldo is officially retired from that yet, but for me I was rooting for the winner. Whoever made it to the final. Essentially, I was rooting for them. I don't care if it was Ronaldo. I don't care. For me personally, the winner of this World Cup between the two would have been the GOAT. Personally.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
And
I know
would
many
agree with
people
you.
have a different arguments because people still think Ronaldo's the GOAT, and we have cousins that are saying, well, no, because you're just trophy hunting. But I view luxury, like I view trophies as one of the key
As one of the key
factors,
things,
and this
and
is the biggest thing. And they both had similar.
This
teams,
is the most
right,
difficult trophy
to win, and this is the
then-
most similar.
Yeah, because they both had help finally.
Exactly.
Like this year, we were confident that like, okay, Argentina could. Like I
Me-
was actually
I
confident
predicted
Argentina.
a
would, like,
final between the two of them, and
Yeah.
I would have been like, perfect. I just
yeah, and
I
then
just want to watch
and
a
I'm
good
like,
game.
Portugal should make the knockout stages easily, and they
Yeah.
could easily make the semifinals. And obviously, they got upset by another story we could talk about the World Cup, which is Morocco's run.
Yeah, so
And Croatia's run as well.
Yeah, and obviously you had multiple storylines. You had the whole happening in Qatar, so the whole human rights side of things, whether people, watching it or boycotting, whatever the case is. This was obviously the greatest World Cup ever because you alluded to the Morocco stuff. Croatia didn't show
Beating
that.
Brazil, Morocco beating Spain and Portugal.
And then the biggest storyline for us locally was Canada finally qualifying for the World Cup.
Yeah, and obviously, instantly when the World Cup schedule came out, book off this day for work, book off this day for work, just to watch Canada play in the World Cup. Obviously, yeah, and ended off a little bit poorly,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we
it
already
was our
ranted
first
about
time.
Canada
Yeah,
in general,
but
you can watch
just
that
to
video.
witness that game against Belgium, like you
We
you were proud of the
we
team.
were proud,
right?
and then now it's obviously a different story because we know the expectations are there. But yeah, like for us, was Canada finally made it, and they showed what they could do. Obviously,
And then-
underwhelming after the Belgium.
And they were just like banger games, right? Like Morocco, Spain, Morocco, Portugal. You got Croatia, Brazil. That game was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Right.
At one point there was
Argentina, Netherlands
At one point there was
in the group stage, right?
the group stage where it was like Spain, Japan, Germany, and
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
There was
I had the game. I was watching it at home, side by side. I had the laptop on, and the TV on. And at one minute the standings were one thing, and then the other minute
it was
flipped.
like Spain and Japan in, then it became like Spain and Germany in, then it became like Japan and Costa Rica in, and Spain and Germany out, which would have been like the
Yeah,
biggest upset
so-
ever.
There was a lot happened during this World Cup, and whoever says the World Cup isn't the greatest sporting event ever are lying to themselves. They're just idiots
Yeah.
because it's a whole worldwide.
It's
spectacle.
either you're lying to yourselves or you genuinely
Hate
don't know.
Yeah, or yeah,
You genuinely don't know.
or you're just a hater for soccer.
And you're just a hater. Because that Argentina Netherlands game, obviously,
The funny story was I was at a I don't know.
You were on break,
I'm not gonna say
right?
I was on break. I'm not gonna say the spot name because we're not sponsored or anything. But I was at a spot with my friend to eat food during break.
Yeah.
And we saw freaking
Wood
Weghorst
Weghorst out of all the people.
first tie the game, and we had to like run back to work.
And then ultimately, the France Morocco game was still decent.
Yeah.
Argentina Croatia semifinal, Argentina dominated, and then ultimately leading up to the World Cup final, where we just witnessed
Yeah.
the greatest game of our life.
So that's pretty much our list. Before we move on, I have a question for you. But before I ask that, what do you guys think? Comment down below if you agree with the ranking. If we missed anything. Now, I understand golf is a sport and tennis is a sport. We just don't watch much of it, so that's why we didn't put
Obviously,
anything
there's probably a
on it.
Djokovic storyline too, because Djokovic is the
Yeah.
GOAT.
So comment down below if you guys agree, disagree, what we missed, right? We would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. But before we move on to today's news, just have this question since we mentioned names like Jokic and McDavid and all these guys. Best show in sports this year. Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Shohei Ohtani? Is it Leo Messi? Is it Caitlin Clark, Connor McDavid, or Nikola Jokic?
All right, I would
If you could rank it, try to rank it. But
try to rank it.
if you can, there's 6 names here.
The 6 names. Top 3 for me
Oh yeah, just give your top 3.
is gonna be between Ohtani, Messi, and McDavid,
Okay.
and then I'll probably put like Clark 4,
Jokic, Mahomes.
Jokic, Mahomes.
It's like weird putting them 5
Yeah,
and 6.
it's weird. It's because Caitlin Clark, what she did was absolutely insane.
Yeah, like
Jokic, all of them did insane. The thing with Mahomes, you expected him the most. Obviously, you expected a little bit with Messi, but with Messi winning the World Cup storyline, he has to be up there.
McDavid going sicko mode.
McDavid absolutely going sicko mode. You kind of have to put him up there. And
I
then
still-
Ohtani being Ohtani,
Yeah.
you have to put Ohtani
Like,
there.
is Ohtani the greatest athlete right now?
I mean, if you're pitching that good and batting that good, you're leading in home runs.
Yeah.
After like legit a day you throw 80 plus pitches, or however
Yeah.
many pitches you throw, and the next day you're out there swinging the bat and swinging for
I'm
the
pretty
fences.
sure yeah, so
Like he has no rest. Like
Yeah.
he's doing it every single day.
exactly. So I have to give it to him, and people could be like, "Oh no, it's baseball. You got to swing a bat. It's not that hard." But yeah, I think I might have to give it to Caitlin Clark still.
Actually,
Just for the year. I'm saying for the
Yeah.
year. The year she had, popping off, playing like every minute of every game. I'm giving it a slightly to Caitlin
I
Clark.
know at this rate, it just might be comes down to like what your favorite sport is.
Yeah, true. But I'm trying to be unbiased here.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Caitlin Clark. Then I'm giving it to Tani, and then I might give it It's tough. That's
I would put Messi then. If you're doing it that, then I would put Messi.
Yeah. Well, if we're going just on the World Cup, then Messi. But if I'm going for the whole year, then I'm giving it to McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you guys might comment down below. It just might just come down to whatever your favorite sport is, right? Like, if you love football, like American football, then you probably put Mahomes. If you love European football, soccer, you can give it to Messi,
Yeah.
right? If you love baseball, obviously you can put Otani in one, and same thing with hockey with McDavid, and then
It's just
college
insane to me.
sports.
I'm still in shock of what Otani's doing.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Okay, let's move on. Like we mentioned, give us any more ideas of any rankings we want to do. Like the video if you want more of this, and we'll continue to do them. Let's move on to the news now.
Yeah, there's nothing
Let's go to NBA.
compared to what it used to be, but
Yeah, we're gonna zoom by them, but some of them are big news that came out, like this one. NBA is copying the soccer technique and having a mid-season tournament, in-season, mid-season, however you want to say it. It was obviously rumored. It was announced during the new CPA, and Saturday was officially announced the details. So, coming soon, the NBA unveiled the details of Saturday of its inaugural in-season tournament, which will have a prize pool of about $18 million total and will be capped by a championship game, which won't count in the standings,
yeah.
the championship game. And it's an event the NBA commissioner Adam Silver wanted for years, like we mentioned. And the tournament payouts for players on standard contracts will be $500,000 apiece. For those on the winning team, $200,000 apiece for those on the runner-up, $100,000 apiece on the teams that lose in the semis, and $50,000 that lose in the quarters. So for some of these players, this is probably chump change.
Yeah.
But for guys like rookies and stuff, obviously a lot more money. Two-way players on any of these teams are eligible for up to half of those amounts, though. So
Okay.
any of the two-way players that, depending on how many games they play.
Yeah. Then you got
Games will start on November 3, being mostly played on Tuesdays and Fridays in November, except for November 7, which is an election day, so they have no games.
okay.
That announcement came, like I said, Saturday. I'm reading this like on the Score article, so this is, if you guys want to check it out, I'm sure you guys were able to find it. The Final Four will be in Vegas, because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
Teams are assigned to a 5-team group.
So 3 per conference.
Yeah, so 6 total groups of 5, so obviously 30 teams. They'll play one game against each other. The 6 group winners will make the quarterfinals, as will the 2 best second place teams. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're kind of copying the Euro route here.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
like a
bit.
Euro route.
Yeah. I'll announce the groups in a second. And
those group games count for regular season games,
yes,
right?
so I'm gonna get to that confusing part now. Tournament games, except for the championship game, will be counted in the standings. So except for the championship game.
Just except for championship?
Yeah.
So even the semis and quarters?
Yes.
Okay.
Much in the same way that the WNBA already does it. They do the Commissioner's Cup is what they call it. So they
Okay.
kind of already do it. It's been known for some time that teams will be getting only an 80-game schedule when the 23-24 slate is released. So when the schedule is released, it'll be only 80 games per team.
Yeah.
Games 81 and 82 will be added in December based on where people finish in the standings.
Okay.
Teams that don't make the knockout stage will be assigned 2 games against other non-knockout qualifiers. So whoever doesn't make the knockout stages, then your 2 teams will get randomly selected that way. And those will be the 2 games missing. For the 8 teams that make the knockout stage, the quarterfinal game becomes 81. Game 81. Added to the schedule. Quarterfinal losers, 2 from the East, 2 from the West, will play each other for game 82.
Yeah.
Semifinalists, again, 2 from the
82.
East, 2 from the West will play. That
That's
game
game
becomes
82.
82.
Yeah.
And that means the championship game will be one of 83 games of the schedule for the last 2 teams in the standing. And since the season is 82 games, that game won't count in the standings. So
Okay,
essentially, that game doesn't count.
It makes
the final
sense.
won't count.
They did their best to try to like not make it extra games, which I kind of respect.
Which is a respect.
Yeah,
and
because
we'll
like
get
for the
our
players
thoughts
as well.
in a second.
Like the players will like that as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously for us as viewership wise, it's like
Yeah.
it's like kind of watching a playoff game.
Before I announce the teams, do you think this will work? I know there are a lot of players against it because
there
of the more
be
games.
it's for me it's like the playing situation, right? Like you're like, okay, what the hell? Like why are we doing this? But then when you start watching, you're like, thank you, because the playing games are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And then
To the point where
obviously
we want NHL
group
to
games
happen.
don't be normal games. I'm not gonna say anything about group games, but like
Yeah.
when you see the quarter and single, because it's always fun to watch single elimination games, right?
Well, here's the thing.
Like that's what Wrestle World
regular
Cup.
season games will be worth the watch now. Think about it. This is technically a regular season game except for the final.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be more
There'll be
interesting
a
to
few
watch.
games,
Yeah.
where you worth to watch.
It depends on how the players will buy in and how serious they'll take it. Because again, $500,000 for LeBron might not be, is nothing for him.
Yeah, no, but
For
obviously,
us, it's like generational wealth. But
for us, Phoenix sign us up because of
Yeah.
you fill out the roster.
yeah, so
I'll give water bottles to Durant. I don't
exactly.
care, right?
But yeah, so I'm intrigued because we love watching Champions League. There's a reason why we love it. We love watching FA Cups and all this stuff. So if it
It
works,
just- those,
I
like,
feel
knockout
like it
games.
should work, but it all depends on how the players buy into it. That's what
Yeah.
matters. Because with the Champions League, it's been going on long before we were born,
Yeah,
right? This is now something brand new, and this is something. It's kind of like the All-Star game. How is it going to work? The players did buy in initially, but how will it go after? But now this is something added to their legacy as well. Like imagine being the first
Yeah.
ever winner. Like LeBron's legacy gets elevated, for example.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
does definitely
Steph's
it adds
legacy.
another trophy.
Yeah,
to the
so-
case.
Yeah, it all. I'm intrigued. I'm excited for it. Obviously, it's still a regular season game, so we might not be able to watch all these. But once it comes to the knockout stages, it's gonna be something normal. The groups,
Yeah.
West Group A, Memphis, Phoenix, Lakers, Utah, and Portland. Keep in mind, only one team goes through for sure
Yeah,
out of this, and out of this the early favorites are Phoenix or the Lakers for me,
yeah,
depending on who's injured and who's not. Obviously,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is early. West Group B, Denver, Clippers. This is a tough one. New Orleans, Dallas, and Houston. Now, this is between Denver, healthy Clippers, even New Orleans healthy, have a chance,
and healthy Mavericks.
and healthy Mavericks. So, this is a tough group. Group C, a little bit easier in my opinion. Sacramento, Golden State, Minnesota, OKC, and San Antonio.
Sacramento or Golden State,
Yeah. Unless like OKC takes like a jump.
and then Minnesota depends too.
Yeah.
But
East Group A, Philly, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit. Pretty tough.
yeah, it's pretty tough.
East Group B, Milwaukee, New York, Knicks, Miami, Washington, and Charlotte. That's between Milwaukee and Miami, depending on if they get Dame Lillard. But
Yeah,
and East Group C, Boston, Brooklyn, Toronto, Chicago, and Orlando.
probably Boston.
It's probably Boston easily.
Yeah, that's Boston.
Yeah. So those are the groups. It starts in November, and you guys could tune in then. So our thoughts we already mentioned. We're intrigued. We'll see if it works. It all just depends on the players' buy-in. That's all.
Yeah,
Let's
Alright.
move on to a big extension that happened that was looming.
that was DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte
extension.
Murray is no longer in the Pascal Siakam trade talks.
Yeah, because he just
Yeah.
got extended.
So 4 years, $120 million extension. He was obviously up for a contract after this year, and he had an decent year with Atlanta. I wouldn't say a horrible year, but now it's just okay. Can Atlanta themselves had a pretty bad year for
Yeah.
their standards, and they
It just
obviously-
seems like they're running it back. I mean, I'm not against it, but I don't know how you're gonna improve your team a little by.
I mean, they moved
he's
on
like
from
your
John
most-
Collins, but
Yeah.
so they're still filling that void, and they're still trying to work with the Raptors for that. But
Yeah, he's definitely not including a trade now.
yes, so that's the big extension there.
And then you
Let's
got
go with sticking with Atlanta. Patty Mills gets traded again, the third time this offseason. Just pulling up the trade. Full trade details: the Hawks received Patty Mills for from the Thunder, because initially it was Nets to the Rockets, Rockets to the Thunder. Now it's Thunder to the Hawks, and the Thunder will receive Usman Garuba, who was moved by Houston, Ty Washington, who also was moved from Houston, Rudy Gay, who was moved on that John Collins trade,
yeah,
and a second round pick. So a lot of decent pieces moved, young pieces, and obviously a veteran.
and Patty Mills is a good player.
And yeah,
Especially off the bench.
he's a good
player to have.
leadership winner, right?
Yeah,
Moved on there. Next up, Matisse Thybulle's contract has
Has been
officially been matched, and
Yeah.
rumors were Thibault wasn't too happy with that because he wanted to be in Dallas. I literally said from the beginning that
It's a fit.
Dallas a player
It's a
fit and everything.
good
So
fit.
I think he's gonna be a trade piece. 3 years, 33 million isn't a lot of money.
It just like
Can he hit a consistent
it
shot?
just, I
Is the
think it's
question
just
mark.
Portland didn't want to let him go for free.
Yeah,
Probably,
and
right?
can they hit a consistent? Can he hit a consistent jump shot? Is the
Yeah.
question. Here's some big news. Greg Popovich
Who's already 70+ years old.
has extended his contract to a 5-year, $80 million contract, and I'll get into that if it.
I think Greg. This was a Greg Popovich's like
He's 74
best
years old.
scenario. Like he was just like at the beginning of the season, we're gonna be shit. So let's get Wembanyama, and then I wanna coach him for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like, all right, let's go.
So here's the thing with this.
Do you think he makes the full contract? Like, do you think he retires before?
No, I think the only way he will retire is if health is compromising him. That's it.
So you
At
think
this
he's gonna
point-
finish the contract?
Well, the way it's looking like, sure. I think so because I thought he would have retired a while ago. He's 74 years old.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
the
absolutely
one
insane.
thing we love about Greg Popovich is he adapts to the game.
Yeah,
he's not
right.
like this old school dude like Lula Morello is.
Yeah,
But the thing with Pop is I think because his wife obviously passed away a couple of years ago,
yeah,
and I'm not sure how much his family life is there. Basketball is probably all he has, and this is speculation. I'm not saying that's true or not, because I'm sure he has grandkids and kids that are much older now. So, he's probably like ball his life, and might as well cash out
that
on
is
it.
legit ball his life. And you're still making
74, so
you're
it'll
still
be
making
70,
bank.
yeah, and 80 million.
You're not relying on a
Speaking of-
retirement fund, right?
Speaking of the bank, it's new 5-year the new 5-year $80 million deal resets the coaching market because Monty signed a 6-year 78.5 earlier.
Yeah.
So this obviously sets a new one. Again, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I'm not mad with it.
Yeah,
Popovich is president of basketball operations. This is, by the way, all according to Woj. He's the president of basketball operations and head coach. So it's possible his new deal allows him to earn out the contract even if he doesn't coach the full 5 years.
wow.
So there's that. Congrats, Pop. You got a bag again.
Yeah,
And last thing is the 2K24 cover athletes have been announced. And synonymous to the number 24. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba. Kobe Bryant himself is the cover athlete. There's a Kobe Bryant edition and there's a Black Mamba edition.
yeah.
The only thing I'm only concerned is how much will 2K actually give to the Mamba Foundation, because I'm assuming Vanessa Bryant has something to do with this as
Yeah.
well, and I'm sure any funds percentage they receive, because I'm sure a cover athlete gets some percentage of the thing. It makes no sense.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm hoping there'll be a decent amount given to the Mamba and Mambacita Foundation named after Kobe and Gigi Bryant. So there's that. If it's for PS4, let's buy it, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But because I didn't get the 2K21 one, but
Yeah.
yeah. Sabrina Ionescu is the WNBA edition of the cover of the WNBA edition. Makes sense. She's really close to the Bryant family as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was the reason, but
And
could be
also,
a
she's a rising star in the
Yeah.
WNBA as well.
so that's it for the NBA. Not really any trades or anything that I see here. So unless something pops up, we'll let you know. Let's move on.
NHL?
NHL. Nothing really happened there except for
Two
Anze
news, right.
Kopitar has extended his contract 2 years, 14 million.
And that I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, he took a pay cut if anything.
Yeah. Right.
So, not surprised. People thought he maybe would have retired. He didn't. And the Kings team is up and coming.
And he's a Kings legend. Wanted to stick it out.
Yeah.
And he's still playing good. It's not like he's playing bad.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Maybe
2 cups.
2 cups.
Well over 1,000 points.
Have good longevity. Still playing at a good high level.
Yeah.
Multiple playoff runs. So yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
And yeah, so congrats, Kopitar.
But if they have something against Russians,
He's not Russian.
never mind.
He's
Why-
not Russian.
What is he Slovenian
Slovakian.
or Slovakian?
Anze.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Anze Kopitar, yeah. Well, I'm an idiot.
Slovenian.
But I was about to say I was about to bring a McGinley thing.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why.
Slovenian. But none other news. It
Never
looks
mind.
like-
And then he's first ballot.
Okay, Alain Vigneault seems like he's retired. I'm saying seems like because he said
Yeah.
he's no longer really putting his name out there for coaching searches, which means that he's probably retired. And we know him well with the Canucks, all-time winningest coach. So my question to you is Ring of Honor.
I mean, why not? Like,
He's
what
not-
hasn't he done? Like,
Ex-
your best
except winning
coach,
it all,
your
but
best
yeah.
coach in franchise history was Pat Quinn, and he kind of matched what Pat Quinn did.
He might be the best. People
Right?
say no.
He's the most winningest
Yeah.
in franchise. He
Took us
took
to
you
a
to
cup
a final, right? And then obviously it's not associated with the Canucks, but he also took the Rangers to the final as well. So he's a good coach, and he has the most wins, which should be respected. And he has yes, obviously we want the cup, but he has done as much as what Pat Quinn has done, and Pat Quinn
He's had
is
more. He's
in
had
the Ring of Honor.
he's had more Stanley Cup appearances than Bruce Boudreau in general. So
Yeah,
yeah, I believe he's Ring of Honor. People might hate him, people might like him with style, but he brought us success. That was a fun era for us in the Canucks. That's
Yeah,
literally
right.
what you grew up on.
that's what I grew up with. Yeah,
So yeah, I believe Ring of Honor. Congrats on retirement, if it is a true retirement. Oh, one thing we forgot to mention: Mike Babcock is officially hired as a head coach now.
yeah.
we forgot to mention it last
we
time,
forgot to mention
but
it,
yeah.
but well,
He's officially hired.
it
as a
was
head
always
coach.
gonna lean that
Yeah.
way, right? So it's nothing surprising.
Okay, let's go quick fire. We alluded to it earlier. UFC results. UFC 290 was yesterday, and the results we care about. Robbie Lawler officially retired, and he went out in style.
With a 30 second knockout,
Yeah.
and then there was
Duplessis
Duplessis.
on fifth ranked beat Robert Whittaker,
Whittaker, yeah.
by TKO punches, and face off with
Izzy.
the middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, and it makes sense because Izzy new challenge, he deserves a shot, and it's rumored to happen in September in Sydney.
Well, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Wow.
So I don't know if he didn't take that much damage because we missed that fight because we were recording the Saturday pod that we said earlier. Yeah, so there was that. Then we'll jump to the fight you mentioned earlier with their honorable mention, fight of the year.
It is fight of the year. It's hands down fight of the year. There's no way.
Both guys throwing punches. So
Throwing
the result was
punches,
Pantoja
won
by split decision,
yeah.
and he's the new flyweight champion. But you got to give credit to Brandon Moreno as well, even though he's 0-3 against this guy.
I don't think like this fight. I don't think you could be mad what the result was.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Pantoja win, I don't think you could be mad. If Moreno won, I don't think you could be mad. My personal opinion, I thought Pantoja edged it out.
I thought Moreno edged it out.
Yeah, so
Because I give like championship.
like a championship.
Championship advantage.
Yeah,
because that's what we're accustomed to seeing. So now it's being changed.
Yeah, but like
slightly.
credit
we
to
saw it with
both
Makhachev,
fighters.
right?
Yeah, we credit to both fighters. Absolutely put on a
Absolute
show.
war. Like,
Absolute
it was
war.
like bloodbath, literally.
Literally a
Yeah.
bloodbath, takedown battles, punches, and then ultimately just respected each other at the end. And sucks that one lost, but one was gonna lose.
Yeah. Moving on to the main event, Volkanovski punished Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised
There
of
was
how much he dominated.
Yair Rodriguez had flashes, but then he got caught in the third
He got
round.
caught. Like Woke adjusted to him.
Yeah, like his game plan was grappling. Friggin' ragdolled his ass.
Yeah,
Like,
he just
takedowns.
Woke is top dog, and he's shown why he was the best, right?
Yeah.
And he's shown that like his bounce back from the loss, and a loss that maybe couldn't, in my opinion, that I thought he won, but
Next fight, is it the winner of Makhachev Oliveira for him?
maybe I don't know because
Because
he's
he also
dominated.
there's a guy that's calling him out.
Yeah, he also he said he's gonna need surgery as well.
Yeah, so he said he's gonna try to come back this year.
Yeah,
And knowing Volk, he'll be fighting in December.
and
So,
knowing Woke that,
not knowing Volk personally, but knowing Volk as the fighter.
but knowing Woke, he puts in the work.
And I alluded to it earlier. The most sportsman, like the biggest
He's like-
sportsmanship fighter ever.
I know, right? Because he's
He's
like,
like, respectfully, I'm gonna kick your ass.
yeah,
Simple as that.
literally like he's like his entrance when he's just running around the octagon, fist bumps the fighter, the other fighter.
Then every round,
Always like
glove tap, and
yeah.
then he does like any mistake or low blow or
Like
whatever
low
the
blow
case
or
was.
headbutt.
He would
Yeah, it was
high
headbutt
five him
yesterday's
before,
case.
and like after the fight he was talking to him properly. So
saying that like, I trained hard for you.
yeah.
You're a good
Yeah,
fighter.
you're
and all.
look like he's a flashy fighter, and I hope he had pulled it off. And because you want to see upsets at the end of the day. I know
Yeah.
Volk's your guy, so maybe not you, but
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. But speaking of UFC, massive fight announced. Massive fight announced.
Yeah.
Obviously, next fight again, pissed off that we might be missing it because we're going to the Canadians game most likely.
Is the
The BMF belt, which is
BMF
Poirier,
between Poirier and
Gaethje,
Gaethje.
and then Pereira's debut in light heavyweight.
Yeah.
But the fight that we're talking about is UFC 295 at MSG in November. John Jones and Stipe Miocic will finally face off in that blockbuster heavyweight title fight on Remembrance Day. November 11, literally on Remembrance Day.
Wow.
Let's see. Right? Jones literally destroyed Cyril Gane.
Yeah. Stipe did not go out well in his last fight against Ngannou.
And
So it's be tough to see because Stipe is on a big layover as well.
yeah,
Like
he's
big-
a firefighter in his other
Yeah.
job, but
And then John Jones obviously
arguably the
dominated.
GOAT. So,
Arguably the GOAT dominated Cyril Gane.
yeah, so that's one to watch for. And we mentioned Ngannou. His fight with Tyson Fury is close, apparently, according to Ariel Helwani.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a boxing fight. He wanted to always box. He wasn't gonna get that in the UFC, which is why when he went to PFL, there was a reason why he went there. I still think Fury needs to fight Usyk. Don't know why. What's how we were. Well, we'll get into the whole state of the heavyweight boxing thing in a second because Usyk is officially fighting Dubois August 26.
Yeah.
Another fight that officially got announced for August 12. Anthony Joshua is fighting Dillian White again. Dillian White recently fought Tyson Fury. I don't know if he fought anyone after that,
Yeah.
but they're having a rematch, and that's happening August 12. But before and I'm gonna mention Deontay Wilder in a second here, but going back, Fury Usyk, so much bullshit, so much like this is where I hate the boxing side of things. As I mentioned it earlier, that we're getting boxing mega fights, but not in the heavyweight side of things.
Yeah.
And it should have been Fury Usyk. I don't know who's not signing it. Fury. All I see on Twitter is Fury talking his shit. Oh yeah, this guy this, this guy that, this guy blah blah blah. Right? Sign the fucking contract and let's do it. Like for me, I need to see a contract signed, which is what you wanted with Spence.
Spence and Crawford. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how. It's obviously gonna be a mega fight, Fury Ngannou, but realistically, if it's boxing, we acknowledge that Fury's arguably the greatest pound for pound, even
Yeah, he's the best pound for pound.
in your opinion. But yeah.
I think so. I mean, who could you really put up
They're
there?
saying
Maybe
Canelo's
like
one,
Canelo's up there
or
as
Terrence
well.
Crawford is one.
Terrence Crawford. So it's between those three.
Yeah, or Errol Spence.
Or else Spence if he wins. But yeah, it makes sense for Fury Usyk because Fury beat Wilder, Usyk beat Joshua. So it makes sense to have Fury Usyk, Joshua, Wilder, right?
So, if Joshua wins, it's rumored to have it done in December that he fights Wilder. Now Wilder's obviously at that point will be more than a year layover again.
Yeah.
And I think rumors are Wilder Ruiz might happen.
Yeah.
And I hope it does because I want to see Wilder fight. Because my favorite fighter is Deontay Wilder, just
Yeah,
because of the knockout.
knockouts. Yeah.
So that's rumored. Joshua, even like Usyk, Wilder was rumored because Usyk Fury are not fighting, which sucks.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty part about boxing because money, egos are involved. Who wants to get paid more? Blah blah blah. So, but yeah, still 3 big fights in the heavyweight scene are announced. Obviously Ngannou is not a boxer; he's a MMA guy. But yeah, literally even UFC, it's a heavyweight battle. So it was a day for heavyweight announcements. So we'll look forward to that. Moving on, let's go.
MLB.
Let's go MLB quickly. Nothing really big happened. We're officially in All-Star break after we're releasing this on Monday. This is Sunday.
So it's
right
officially
now.
All-Star
So it's
break.
All-Star break. Home Run Derby will be
Today.
and the All-Star game will be on Tuesday. But 2 big news that happened. One, Tigers got a no-hitter, multiple pitchers against our beloved Blue Jays.
Here's the thing. I know he used 91 pitches, Matt Manning, the starting pitcher who went 6-1, and he walked a batter and he got pulled out of the game. But I believe it should be illegal to pull out a pitcher if he's in a no-hitter or a perfect game situation.
I disagree, but
Why not?
I don't know.
You gotta give him the moment, though. No, he's worked so hard for this.
He's at the 7th inning and 91 pitches. Johan Santana was famous for this, apparently, that he went deep, like close to 150 pitches, and was never the same after that again. With his pitching.
Yeah, but there's also situations where, like, if you're thinking injury side, there's also so many pitchers who've been on pitch counts, pitch limits, and got injured
I don't
many
think
times.
the Tigers cared because they're like,
Yeah, the Tigers don't care. So why will I not pitch them the whole time? If they don't care, if they
they're
don't
looking
care,
to also
that
win
means
the game because it's still
yeah, no.
it
But
was
if
still a close
they
game.
don't care, if
No,
it's,
I mean the Tigers don't care in terms of like who they wanted it as a team and they got it. Like,
no,
they don't care about
If
the
they don't
specific
care,
person.
they don't care about the season. It doesn't
If it's
matter.
okay, here, if it's perfect game, then I agree with you. More so because it like other than Domingo Herman recently, it was not done for
Yeah.
a long ass time, right? Felix Hernandez in 2012. Then I agree with you. I feel like no hitters happen a little bit more often. That it will be. This is their 9th in league team history now.
Yeah.
So and they were robbed of one. Remember? So
They were robbed of one. Yeah.
That, first base ump at the time.
First base ump. I forgot the guy pitcher's name.
Yeah, but so I still think they're gonna do best for the health of the pitcher. 91, sure, maybe finish out the inning. I don't think he was gonna go 9, unless
Yeah.
he was able to like miraculously
I think
Blue Jays
it's
out on
because
a
he did
double play.
he did have a few walks as
Yeah,
well.
that's the thing.
maybe
if
why.
it's perfect game, I'll agree with you more so. Not a no hitter
Yeah, no, but it just kind of ruins it for me because now it's like a
because it's a
combined
team,
no hitter,
man,
right?
which is fine.
It's supposed to be it's a
You do
starting
it as a
thing.
team then.
Yeah, I know, but it's a starting pitcher thing. That's what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, but
a no hitter in a
I have
perfect game
no
is a
issue-
starting
I have no
pitcher
issues
thing.
with it. Clayton Kershaw's like, I had no issues with it when he was in that. He's like, I'm thinking what's best for the team, and I want to win. Now we know the Tigers aren't in a spot for the playoffs, but they don't care about that.
Yeah,
This is
I
our
mean,
opinion on this side.
yeah, it just sucks because this is a starting pitcher thing,
Yeah.
and then you
Hey,
you
the
you
relief
hate to see
pitchers
it.
combined it. They easily could have ruined it.
Yeah, I know, but this is a starting pitcher thing. You
Yeah,
agree with
no.
that?
What I'm saying is like,
Obviously, they finished the job
next
off.
time don't
which
walk
is-
a guy, and you'll get your opportunity.
they finished it off right.
But yeah, next time don't walk a guy. So
No, he walked many. Like in the first inning,
Yeah,
he had like 2
so-
walks and stuff as well.
that's what caused it as well.
Yeah,
But, moving on, Ellie De La Cruz.
absolute electrifying show.
Is he the
going
most
on.
you already said it? Is he the most electrifying guy in the league right now?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying the best because we know the Shohei Ohtani literally puts on
Yeah.
a show every time. But electrifying meaning
this guy.
no matter what, you're gonna watch
he's-
a highlight of him.
He stole home plate. He stole second and third in the
same-
same inning, which hasn't been done in a while in Reds history. But this guy's put on a show ever since he came up, helping the Reds go on that multiple game win streak, to help him get first place in division, and hit for a cycle 2 weeks into
Yeah,
it.
so
And now also
now this all he had to do was come up earlier, he probably would have been favorite for rookie of the year.
yeah. But this year's
Corbin
rookie
Carroll's obviously
yeah.
killing it. That's why he
this year's rookie class has been good.
Yeah.
Like, on both sides,
yeah. So
both leagues.
yeah, that was the MLB side of things. Nothing major really happened. No trades.
So we're
but
gonna
trade
do-
deadline is August 1st. So
Yeah,
it
that's-
is approaching, fast approaching. So
Yeah.
we'll see what teams do that. We'll talk about it more closer. Let's finish off with some soccer, like we always do. Like we pretty much have a way to do this right
Yeah,
now.
right.
But, David De Gea is no longer a Man United player after 12 years.
Yeah. For me, it was time.
Bittersweet.
It's bittersweet. It was gonna happen. It was like,
Well, there were rumors that the contract was in place, and now they're saying that it was never in place.
yeah. But just regarding that, like for me personally, it was time. It sucks because clearly you're a United legend. When you think United goalkeepers, you're gonna think Van der Sar. You're gonna think Schmeichel. You're gonna think De Gea. Like he's in
Yeah.
that conversation.
Fabian
And when you think
Barthez as
United,
well.
when you think United legends, you're gonna think De Gea as well, right?
Yeah,
he's
he
won.
won everything except Champions League.
He's won everything except Champions League. He's legit in what 2016 to like 20 that 2015
Right
to like
before the World
2018.
Cup,
Yeah, right before the
essentially.
World Cup, that 2018 World
He
Cup.
was the best goalie in the league.
He's the best
probably.
goalie in the
In the
world.
world.
In the world. He was the only relevant, consistent Manchester United player
Yeah.
at that time frame. And then there's one game I remember when we beat Arsenal 3-1 and he had like 12 saves.
There was a
Absolutely like
Liverpool
robbing
game. That one Liverpool
Lacazette,
game.
robbing Sanchez. There's
For me,
that
it was
one
the-
Liverpool game.
For me, it was the Liverpool game where he was like just shutting down Christian Benteke that one game.
Yeah, that
but
Christian
yeah.
Benteke one, and then there's one recently against Tottenham where he had another 11+ save game, and then his last couple of seasons, yes, he made mistakes,
Especially
but
after
he
the
put
World
on
Cup.
some vintage performances
From the
for us to win.
2018 World Cup to be
Especially
exact.
this year, we wouldn't be third place with if De Gea wasn't in net.
Yeah, no, for me it's like, okay, the goalie's job is to save some shots, and he
Yeah,
did
he let
that,
some,
but he also let some stinkers in. But the problem is,
but for the most part, he made some banger saves to
yeah,
help us win games.
but he also
Especially when
cost some with the
yeah,
saves. The West Ham game, for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
and
but
the other problem is the adaptation of the goalie. Like, it's like every sport has like an adapting thing. Right, quarterbacks now have to be mobile. NBA centers now have to be stretch bigs, not back to the basket bigs. Right, so in this case, the goalie you need to create from the goalie, and unfortunately, he doesn't have the greatest
footwork.
IQ and footwork for a goalie, and obviously that's why Man United went out and got Rafa Varane and Lisandro Martinez, because
They're better
Maguire and
center
Lindelof
backs.
can't
Yeah.
do shit either, and you mix that in with David De Gea. Yes, David De Gea, and then he'll give the ball away a lot. He might sometimes those saves come because the mistake is from him, whether it be a bad
But
long
that
ball.
was
I'm
was
just saying at
mostly, yeah.
times,
That was barely though.
but he gives the ball away a lot, and then the goals happen because
Yeah.
of that. So it's time to move on. Might as well leave on a high, which he did.
Yeah,
I wish it
the
happened.
last two
I wish it
seasons-
was announced like how Busquets announced it during the season and Benzema announced it during the season.
The thing is, his last two seasons, they were good seasons for United, right?
Yeah.
Like he bounced back from the World Cup. Obviously, the year before, he wasn't even going to be the starter, but Dean Henderson got COVID, and then De Gea and Ronaldo were the only two relevant
Yeah.
Manchester United players that year.
Yeah, it was a great shot stopper, but the problem is, like I said, the game evolves, and now people could high press us, and we saw that at the beginning of the year with the Brentford game, especially.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we need a goalie, which now who we're linked to, Andre
Andre
Onana. Onana. And we saw him at the Champions League final, how he was able, like City
He was
like
just so
literally a week
composed.
before, City were
Yeah.
pressing De Gea during the
FA Cup final.
the FA Cup final, and a week later, then we're not doing that, right? So
Yeah,
we need
because-
that type of goalie, and there's a reason behind that.
Onana was just so composed on
Yeah.
the ball, passing through lines, like the forward lines, getting the ball into the center mids.
And the deal should be done within the next 72 hours, supposedly. So hopefully, we need a goalie. As right
Yeah.
now, it's Dean Henderson.
That's the best
And he doesn't
placement.
want to, and Dean Henderson doesn't want to be a United player anymore. I don't blame him
Because
fully.
yeah, his
because
opportunity.
his opportunity got taken away. But then you can't blame De Gea for staying, because, like you
De
mentioned,
Gea stepped up
Yeah.
afterwards, like when he was struggling.
I was
with
all Dean
2018,
Henderson should be the
2019.
goalie at that time.
Yeah, and then
he
De Gea-
deserved it, because De Gea did struggle that year.
And then De Gea just stepped up his game.
Yeah,
Yeah, like De Gea
and-
legit turned back the clock that season.
And there's a Japanese goalie, young goalie, that we're linked to be the backup to learn. He's like a younger Onana, apparently.
Yeah,
Zion Suzuki. So he's like a black Japanese guy. That's why it's Zion Suzuki.
Zion
But
Williamson.
I saw his passing ability, and it was
It's good,
insane.
right.
Now, for me, at the end of the day, goalie needs to shot stop and everything. Now, we've seen Onana do it, which is
And Onana also has ties with Ten Hag as well.
exactly. And hopefully Suzuki learns off that, and he's our goalie of the future, and he is a good shot stopper at the end of the day. That's the key thing is, for me, it's like I would have been I would have been fully fine with De Gea in net, but if it means that you're shot stopping everything, then that's the goal is. You don't want to let a goal in.
Yeah, like goalie's number one job is to save,
Yeah.
right?
And those people that are saying, oh, yeah, De Gea is not a I'm saying United legend.
He is a United legend.
He is a United legend no matter what. Like people, and many people on Twitter, like Man United Twitter, want him gone. It isn't because he is shit, like overall career wise. It's just because now he is
It's just
mistake
time has
prone
come.
now. At the end of the day,
The time has
as
come.
good as he did, he's also very error prone.
And then, like obviously age as well, right?
Yeah.
Like these mistakes have been coming
For a
as he's
few
aging,
years.
right?
Yeah.
It's because he's aging,
Exactly.
and
so,
then the game is also evolving, and his game doesn't really, replicate what Ten Hag wants, which was like
Yeah.
a composed guy in that for on the ball.
Exactly. So, let's move on. Christian Pulisic is officially now a AC Milan player, another Chelsea player gone. And so we'll see what happens with that. And the last thing, I want to get this right. So let me pull it up. If I could find it. Okay. Van der Sar, you alluded to him earlier as one of the greatest United goalies of all time. Probably second to Schmeichel, who knows, but or even one, but is hospitalized. He's known for Ajax's sporting director. I don't think he's there anymore, but he's still there. He's the key reason why we have Ten Hag and
Yeah.
Martinez. He's in the hospital in the ICU because his brain had like a leak.
It was a
like,
brain bleed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so thoughts and prayers to him. I will double check to see if there's any update on him, but
Yeah, thoughts and
health
prayers
update
with him for sure.
Remains in ICU, stable though,
which is good to
but
hear.
he's still in the ICU.
But it's still, yeah, we just hope that he's able to recover and just
52 years old, so
Yeah.
definitely younger, on the younger side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not a good way to end out, but praying for him, because obviously, especially as United fans, a guy that I watched, that's when I started watching.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that ends it for the day today. And like I said, reminder to you guys, we will not be dropping a podcast this week unless something major happens and we'll do an emergency one.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
example, Damian Lillard, please do not get traded this week. Otherwise,
yeah, don't get traded.
or anyone really
Don't
big.
get traded before Thursday at least.
Exactly. So, but that being said, though, hope you guys enjoyed the pod. We obviously brought in the ranking system today, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a great conversation. Let us know what you guys think below. Your thoughts. Let us know if you missed anything on the list and in general news. And keep an eye out on Thursday. We'll be just dropping like a reaction video, most likely, or some type of video. And on Saturday we'll be dropping a special podcast episode as well. No guests, but it's just us two. But with that being said, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.